Hi, this is Asa, and welcome to my audio experience. We're going to kick it off with Christina. Hi, Christina. Welcome to the show,
Hi
darling.
there. Oh, I'm going to have to start listening to you every night. I'm calling you about something specific, and listening to the others, I realize I don't know enough. But
That's
I do
okay.
have diabetes,
Okay.
and my question was this, and then I'll add that I've got more difficulties than I thought.
Okay.
You know, I have always heard that if you don't eat, that your blood sugar drops. Well,
That's right.
but in the morning, if I take my blood sugar at 5, it's usually between 101 and 119. But if I wait till 7 or 7:30, it's on up there by 128, 139. I mean, what is happening? I don't understand it because I haven't eaten.
Right.
I didn't eat anything between 5 and 7, but if I don't take my blood sugar earlier, it's higher. What's going on? Do you know?
What happens? Yeah, absolutely. What happens is over a period of time when you wake up in the morning, cortisol levels are supposed to be at their highest in the morning. Now, cortisol is a stress hormone.
Cortisol?
Yes, cortisol is it's a stress hormone, and
Stress.
it's secreted by the adrenal glands. And the adrenal glands are the body's stress glands. And when that happens, then a couple things. When typically, let me tell you the normal pattern. First thing, you wake up in the morning, cortisol levels are supposed to be very high. And when you wake up in the morning and they're high, it can affect blood sugar levels. As it affects blood sugar levels, it can cause you to feel a certain way. It can cause you to the blood sugar to actually change. So that's why when you first wake up, if your body's in a fatigued state, then your cortisol levels can be a little bit lower. If they're a little bit lower, your blood sugar is going to be a little bit lower. Once cortisol kicks in a little bit, though, it makes your blood sugar kind of go haywire a little. And that's why it begins to increase even though you haven't had any food. And that's why breakfast is so important. That's why they call it breakfast. Break fast is the word. It's because you're breaking a fast of being in sleeping state. Now, see, when you're sleeping, your body is still utilizing glucose, which is blood sugar, and it's still utilizing some of the food and nutrition that you've had from the day before. But once you start winding down into that 6 to 8 hours of sleep, then the body's cortisol levels kick in, makes you more hungry. And, of course, then the blood sugar levels begin to change. And if you're dealing with diabetes, then you're going to be playing, you're one of those things that you want to eat first. As soon as you wake up, you need to be putting food in your body. Everybody really does. But when you're dealing with diabetes, it's something that you really need to do is to get up and get that meal in. Now, your meals don't need to have a lot of carbohydrates in the morning. You got to keep it simple. So a good meal or breakfast for you in the morning to keep your blood sugar stabilized is you want to have equal amounts of lean protein sources like chicken, fish, beef, or eggs. So eggs would be great in the morning, of course. And that's the whole egg, not just egg whites, not egg beaters, but the real thing. So 2 to 3 organic eggs in the morning, cooked in coconut oil or butter. And then your carbohydrates, you could do a bowl of fresh berries like strawberries or blueberries, raspberries, something like that would be great. And not toast and not potatoes and not oatmeal. You want to stay away from all those things that are going to affect your blood sugar in a negative way. And then you want to get good healthy fats in the morning. Now, if you eat the eggs, you'll get great fats out of the egg yolks. And of course, if you're using coconut oil to cook with or butter, that's going to be really good fat as well. Fat does a couple of things. It slows down the digestive process of your food so it doesn't go in and out of your body so quickly. It takes its time so you can utilize the proteins and the fats and all that kind of thing. So it's important to be able to do that. Now, the other thing, too, with diabetes, you want to start using some things with your meals that will help regulate blood sugar. One is alpha-lipoic acid. It's an antioxidant that works very well. But then they also have some minerals that work well. Vanadium is really important. Also, chromium picolinate is great. And manganese. All three of those can be taken along with the alpha-lipoic acid with your meals to help regulate blood sugar and really get the body more stabilized, especially your pancreas, which is where the blood sugar is secreted in the first place, and get it where it needs to be. So those are a couple places to start. Now, I do encourage you to exercise because in diabetes, exercise plays a big role. And a lot of people really don't exercise the way they need to when they're struggling with diabetes. And getting that in place, getting it in order, one of the best things that you can do to get your health back where it needs to be. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. 7272. Our health challenges are something we deal with every single day. And most of them, 80% of them, are diet and lifestyle related. That means if you can lifestyle your way into getting sick, you could lifestyle your way out and get well. It's true. The body changes every single day. So are you willing to change with it? Are you willing to make the kind of choices and the kind of changes that you need to make in order to get well? Well, that's something that you have to decide, and it's something that you have to look into and want to do. And that's why the subtitle of my book, Empowering Your Health, has always been, Do You Want to Get Well? Because if you do, if you're willing to do whatever it takes, no matter how hard it might be, then your body can get well. And that's the choice you have to make. Because the choices, the things that we do, the choices, the lifestyle choices we make every day matter. Foods that we eat, the water that we drink, getting half our body weight in ounces of pure non-chlorinated water daily, the exercise that we get or don't get, the rest that we get, making sure that we get to bed before midnight, knowing that every minute of sleep before midnight is worth 4 minutes after midnight. That plays a big role. So monitoring stress levels, managing our stress, managing our health, all play key roles in getting our bodies where they need to be. So what are you doing with your health? Have you made some changes? Or are you just sitting back hoping that you don't get sick, or hoping that you don't get something that might be coming down the pipeline genetically, or thinking that you're going to get something that grandpa had? It's not true. Genetics play about 15 to 20% of the overall equation. Remember that. So our lifestyle choices play the biggest role in our health. And the good news is we're in control of that. So no one else can take responsibility for your health but you. And so what kind of choices are you making today? Because the choices you can and will to make today will determine the health that you're going to have tomorrow. 888-283-7272. Sign up for our weekly email newsletter. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Now let's go to Kathy. Hi, Kathy. Welcome to the show.
I want to say I think you're a godsend, and I wish there was one of you standing on every corner.
Well, thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Kathy. What's going to be your question tonight?
All right. So I have a son-in-law who's had a couple of bouts of the MRSA infection.
MRSA infection. I'll tell you what, we're going to go into this break. Hang tight. And we're going to talk about MRSA. We'll get into the details about what's been going on and come up with a great solution. MRSA is something that a lot of people struggle with. And it's something that affects our immune system in a major way, but there's a way to get out of it. And we'll talk about that and get into the question when we come out of this break. So hang tight.
Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
To find out more, connect with On Call Radio online at InShapeNetwork.com.
Her son-in-law is dealing with a MRSA infection, Kathy, and you were starting to tell me about it. So why don't you go into the question and we'll see what we can do to figure things out.
All right. So I think it was last year, the first part of the year, he had a bout with the MRSA. He had one lanced. It was pretty bad. He was on pretty strong antibiotics. Since then, he's had another couple of flare-ups, and here in the last, I believe it was this past Saturday, he came down with another one, which is pretty large. He went to the doctor. He gave him some Scepter antibiotic to take. He's running a temperature like 102.5, maybe a little higher with it. And I told my daughter that I was going to call you and talk with you because I listen to you quite frequently. And
great.
I had talked with you earlier last year concerning my husband, and some of the advice that you had given me had really helped my husband. And I told her that I was going to call and see if if you could give us some ideas about how to keep this thing from annoying him right on.
Yeah, I'm sure. What is his age?
He is 39. 40.
39.
39.
Okay, so right around the big turn right there.
Uh-huh.
Well, a couple things that he can do is when you're dealing with MRSA, and of course, I guess he's done several antibiotics, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
nothing's
He's
seemed to
done the
help.
route.
He's gone the route. All right.
Yes, sir.
The first thing you want to do, I mean, obviously he's done that. So the other thing is to make sure that the things he's putting inside of his body every single day are going to matter tremendously. When you're dealing with the immune system, you have to do everything you can with a MRSA infection to make the body's own natural immune system extremely strong. And it's not hard to do. You can make it happen, but he has to be very strategic in the things that he chooses to do now. And the first thing I would make sure that he's doing on a regular basis is cutting out all wheat products that contain any kind of flour. So bread, pasta, cereal, crackers. Why? Because there's that protein in there called gluten, and gluten is highly inflammatory to the body. It used to be thought that gluten is simply for people that deal with celiac, and it's just a celiac disease issue and people can't handle gluten. But what we found is about 95% of people cannot handle it. They just can't. And because they can't handle gluten, then it affects the body in so many different ways, whether it's an infection or it's autoimmune disease or other types of things. So it's important to avoid it altogether, at least for 8 weeks, because it takes 7.5 weeks for a gluten protein to come out of the system and not affect it. So I would start there without a shadow of a doubt. I would get started in that with that aspect, have him change the way he's eating, because that's going to help build the immune system. He can use echinacea and golden seal. It comes in a tincture, and it works well in supporting immune function, building up the immune system. But I'll tell you what really kills off MRSA-related infections now, especially if he's gone the route of doing all the antibiotics. See, that's the key right there. Coming off the antibiotics and not seeing the complete results that he's looking for, that plays a big role. There's one that works very well. It's kind of old school, but it's new school, and it's ionic silver. It works well, and it's something that he can use on a daily basis. It keeps the immune system strong, kills off extra or excess viral infections, bacterial infections, and he would simply want to do about 20 drops 3 times a day, and you can do it with meals. No big deal. But it works well. And high vitamin C levels, too, work very well. And I would say between 5,000 and 7,000 milligrams per day of vitamin C is going to be great for him to completely have things balanced out within his body. And it's important to do that. It's important to make sure that vitamin C levels are balanced and on a higher end, because they found that the higher your vitamin C levels are in the body, Linus Pauling did a big study on it. Of course, he won a Nobel Prize for his research in vitamin C. And it's just great because we've learned of how it affects the immune system and how much it strengthens it. And with MRSA, you're dealing with something that's really challenging. It's something that's so resistant to the different antibiotics. It's such a resistant bacterium that it can be a little bit scary. And people, when they hear MRSA, they can, they freak out and they get really concerned. But it's something that we see a lot more now than we used to. And if you just come up with a way to build the immune system up and do things on a daily basis, see, that's the key. It's making those little daily deposits in his health account is what's going to make the difference. And he's young. He's 39, and that's really young still. His immune system is still strong. And even though he's running these fevers, I would still encourage you to do the same protocol. Cod liver oil is important, and probiotics are very important when you're dealing with a massive bacteria like MRSA. He wants to do 4 probiotics in the morning on an empty stomach, and I would do 4 at lunch, right after or before, about 30 minutes before lunch. It's better to do it on an empty stomach. And then evening dinner, same thing on an empty stomach. Works well, works very well. And I would encourage you to encourage him to get started, but don't lose hope. That's the thing that he cannot lose, is hope. Because in the middle of all this, his body, as much as it can get an infection like MRSA, it can start getting well. And the foods that he's eating every day, first thing you've got to change. You have to change that. Change the way he eats. You will literally change the way he lives. And it's so important because MRSA is scary. And it's something that a lot of people struggle with, but he doesn't have to keep it. It's one of those things that even though it's like just because the antibiotics didn't work, we don't just throw our hands up in the air and just say, oh, well, there's nothing else we can do. There's a lot that can happen. And focus on getting his immune system strong. And at the end of the day, his body will respond, and he'll be able to shake that thing. Even though people say it's very difficult, he will. He's young enough to be able to fight it. His body can fight it, and then I want to hear about it. Give me a call back here on the show or email me.
Are you ready to chow? It's time for Keto Chow. When it comes to eating healthy, the keto diet has become one of the nutrition leaders in optimizing health, losing unwanted weight, and reaching your health and wellness goals. No extravagant cooking, no long kitchen cleanup, and most importantly, especially for me, it's convenient. Just put quality Keto Chow powder in a bottle, add some heavy whipping cream or your favorite fat, a little water, and boom, shake it up and you're ready to chow. Keto Chow tastes amazing. So make Keto Chow easy for you and your family today with Keto Chow. Let's go chow. Visit Keto Chow online at ketochow.xyz. That's ketochow.xyz.
To find out more, visit the show online, InShapeNetwork.com.
Todd. Hi, Todd. Welcome to the show.
How are you?
Great, man. What's up?
I had some general questions about adult attention deficit disorder.
Let's talk about it.
Well, I'm curious about diagnosis and then treatment options.
Okay, what are you curious about? Just what have you done? Let's start here. Where have you gone? Where are you now? And then we'll come up with some options.
Okay. Well, I for a long time, I'm almost 40 years old, and for a long time I've just had a hard time focusing on different tasks. I'm a fairly successful adult, but I still have, my mind wanders during the day. I tend to set up multiple tasks at once instead of focusing on one thing. And then my lack of interest in things, a friend said, well, maybe you're depressed. And I kind of looked and I said, no, I don't think I'm depressed. And then another friend suggested, well, have you ever been diagnosed with adult attention deficit disorder? I've done a little bit of research online, and kind of maybe, but I guess my next step would be to go to my healthcare provider. But I was a little curious what you could tell me about how they diagnose it, and then treatment options after diagnosis.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about this. Now, do you find yourself really struggling with it now, or is it something that you deal with just periodically?
No, every day. I mean, in the last 2 years, it's gotten worse.
Right, I got it.
And I was never diagnosed as a hyper child. So, it kind of came out of the blue. But the more I read about it, the more I'm like, yeah, it kind of fits.
Well, tell me what you eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Let's see what a day in the life of Todd looks like.
Breakfast usually is either coffee or a NOS or a Monster, something along those lines.
Wow.
Lunch is a side salad and then a burger of some sort. And then dinner is sporadic. My wife tries to keep me healthy, but I don't know if she's all that successful at it. And
That's some decisions sounds like that's the decision you have to make.
Right. I would put myself in good health. I'm not overweight, fairly physically active.
Right.
So I don't know that if diet's a big part, but that's something that
it's a huge part. Yeah, it's a huge part. All of it's a huge part. But the reality is, when it comes to your health and it comes to dealing with ADHD or ADD, adult, child, it's the same thing. The same thing's happening. You're dealing with neurotransmitters, and the neurotransmitters that are being affected typically when you're dealing with ADHD are a couple things. Now, the first one we usually see is dopamine. Dopamine that's the one that also can be affected with bipolar highs and lows.
Okay.
But ADHD is, obviously you can't focus. That's the big deal. You want to avoid the two foods I always talk about. They create food allergies, but gluten is the main one. Now, cow's milk dairy, I talk a lot about it, avoiding it as much as you can. But when it comes to ADHD, I'm talking about foods with flour, bread, pasta, cereal, crackers. But the reality is it's not great at all, and it's horrible for you. And that gluten protein, when you remove it, you're going to notice it in a major way. I would say that's the number one thing you could do. Second thing is you want to balance out your dopamine levels. And the way to do that is you want to eat foods like meat, of course, the organic grass-fed kind, fish, eggs, cheese, and chocolate. All of those play a major role in your overall health, and especially balancing out dopamine levels. You want to avoid caffeine, so these drinks you're drinking for breakfast, like those NOS drinks and all that, that you're fueling the fire. You're throwing gasoline on the fire, and you think it's water. And so that's why every time you throw the gasoline on the fire, the flames get higher. You're just you're making it worse by the things you do every day. Here's some supplements that help raise dopamine levels. Blueberry extract is very good. Okay. Tyrosine is very good. Pyridoxal 5-phosphate, that's P5P, vitamin B6 is incredible. N-acetylcysteine is great as well. Okay. So those are the ones that keep dopamine levels elevated. And also, I'll tell you, the dark chocolate, the real dark chocolate, like the 80% kind, it's a little bit bitter. You can have a little bit of that every single day, about 4 squares of that a day, and it will help raise dopamine levels naturally. So there's some things, and really, you'll notice a big difference. I would also get a blood test just for kicks and giggles and see how your testosterone level is.
Okay.
Because low dopamine levels in a male will always equate to low testosterone levels. And you want to make sure that that stays up so you don't have prostate issues. So see how everything's kind of interconnected? I mean, you're asking me one question, and there's about 3 different ways to skin a cat in this. But you have to look at all ways, too, because they all tie in, and they all make a big difference in the overall health equation. So long story short, change your diet, get on some of the supplements that'll make a difference. Eat on some of the foods that I listed out for you, and see how your body responds. You're going to need about an 8-week period to really see a difference. So it's not going to happen in 2 days. So don't get into the microwave generation of people that want things tomorrow. And cod liver oil, of course, it's a gimme. So a tablespoon in the morning, tablespoon in the evening, you're going to notice some major changes. When you do, please tell me about it. I want to hear about it. Either shoot me an email, call me back here on the show. It's great talking with you. 888-283-7272. If you need a new prescription for your life, then call in right now with questions about your health. 888-283-7272. And now we're going to go to Angela. Hi, Angela.
Hey, how are you?
Living well. What's up?
My question is, I stay very busy. I have a full-time job. I have a cleaning service that I do on Sundays, and I'm currently in massage therapy school.
Oh, congratulations. That's great. You like it?
I love it, but I'm at the part where the rubber hits the road with the neuromuscular therapy part. And I'm finding that I'm really very irritable. I feel like that every nerve ending I have in my body is like PMSing. I have to bite my tongue to calm down. I get stressed, and especially when it's time for a test or something. And I've really been trying to eat healthy, but I don't know. I'm trying not to be so irritable going through what I'm going through, but I don't know how not to stress out so much on everything. I eat bananas for breakfast for the most part in the morning. For lunch, I cut up bell peppers of all colors, cucumbers, avocado. I eat one of those. But I also have an eating disorder that I've been battling with for quite a few years, and so I get paranoid eating at night, and I go to school at night.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
So
well,
I don't know.
It doesn't sound like you're eating a lot of protein, though. Are you not? Are you vegetarian?
I'm trying to be. I have we took nutrition in school, and they played some movies that really freaked me out about eating meat.
Don't let it freak you out.
Well, it showed how it was processed. And
I know. I've seen them.
They do it, and I'm like, the corn-fed cows and the stuff like that is just like really, so I can't find myself wanting to eat meat, so I don't know what to do.
Well, I think there's a couple things. First thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you're getting plenty of proteins and you're not. So that right there in itself is going to make anybody irritable because you can't produce the right kind of neurotransmitters. I was just talking to a gentleman about dopamine, and dopamine, when it gets low in the body, you can't focus. It's hard to concentrate. You get irritable. You get snappy with people, and you're thinking, why am I so, like Medea says, why are you so angry?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
You know what I mean? And it's one of those deals where you want to keep your brain chemistry balanced, neurotransmitters, so you can be balanced and you can be the kind of person that you know you are. And
can I ask you this?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you. I've been taking ginkgo biloba too.
It's not going to do it.
Is it good for your brain?
It's okay. It's okay. A lot of weak studies out on ginkgo right now, meaning that it's not really everything it's been cracked up to be for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, so what you want to do is I would increase your meat intake. I really would. Now, you don't have to do so much red meat, but I would increase at least maybe one piece a week and only do the organic, grass-fed, hormone-free at least, because the iron and the B12 that you have in there, the conjugated linoleic acid, there's so many nutrients that are in there that's so good for us. I mean, that's why it's one of the best things you can eat. Now, fish and eggs, if you'll stick with that for your major protein sources, then you'll get great benefits. You'll stabilize your brain chemistry big time.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
So, but you're doing great with the fats, the avocados and the fish oils and the nuts and the almonds and all that kind of thing. That's great. Vegetables, great. Breakfast, bananas, throw that out the window. 2 organic eggs in the morning for breakfast, get a bowl of fresh berries, and that needs to be your breakfast. You're going to have healthy fats, great proteins. You know, eggs have probably the best protein source on the planet. So just by doing that, getting the good low glycemic carbohydrates in those berries, that's going to make a huge difference in the way that you feel and the way that your body responds. So get started on that, and then stay in touch with me. See if your body is still acting and your brain chemistry is acting the way that it is. Blueberries are really good for balancing dopamine. Chocolate, of course, I just talked about with the call before you, and also keeping those protein levels up and your healthy fats up. 888-283-7272.
Did you know that you can listen to the Asa Rx audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
Connect with On Call Radio and watch On Call TV at InShapeNetwork.com.
Okay, so here's the deal. You're dealing with anxiety. You don't know why. It came out of nowhere. You're not stressed out. Life's not falling apart. But yet, you can't, let me guess, you can't sleep at night, right?
No, well, if I take my Xanax, I sleep at night.
No, I'm talking about without medicine.
Right.
Right. So one of the major symptoms of low GABA levels in the brain is insomnia and anxiety. Those are the two. And so you take the Xanax, and it takes care of those issues. So you're able to go to sleep, and then, of course, you're not anxious. But the problem is it's very addictive. So here's the deal. To bring GABA levels up, here are the foods from a nutritional perspective that one should avoid, okay? Peanuts, walnuts, hazelnuts, almonds, cheese, oatmeal, anything with barley in it, anything with wheat flour in it, so that's bread, pasta, cereal, crackers, rice, salmon, spinach, and beans. All those foods right there will lower your GABA levels and make them worse. So if you eat those foods, it's making your condition worse. And all the benzodiazepine, all the Xanax is doing is masking all of that. Now, supplements that can be helpful for GABA. Remember, GABA itself, if you take it as a supplement, which they tried to make it in a supplement, but it didn't cross what's called the blood-brain barrier. It didn't cross over. And one of the main issues with the supplements that are actually beneficial, L-theanine, very good. L-taurine, very good as well. And here's one that they've said is really good, valerian root. But I've talked to a lot of pharmacists, and just the interactions of what valerian root can do, it can have some similar effects. It's got a very long half-life, and what that means is when you take a valerian root, it stays in the system. So I've talked to several pharmacists, and they just said that's on their blacklist, meaning that they're not big fans of recommending that. So they are the experts when it comes to chemistry in the body, no doubt, and how drugs interact, and how supplements interact. So just be careful. If you look into valerian root, which is a big component for GABA levels, you got to be careful with it, and you got to make sure you're working with a doctor at some level that's watching over you with that, because it can be combined with other components, and that can be fine. But just know that, again, you just got to be careful with it. So if you haven't had any major issues, life hasn't thrown you a major curveball, you haven't gone through a lot of stress, and you're wondering what in the world is going on and what's causing the anxiety, usually it's nutritional, typically. And the Xanax is only going to be a Band-Aid. And again, you'll get addicted to it, very much so. So I'd be real careful with it. And your diet, that's the other key. Now, you told me basically, I mean, there wasn't one thing that you mentioned that was healthy in what you're eating. The only way you're going to really make some major transitions in your life and conquer brain chemistry and conquer your body chemistry and feel better than you've ever felt before is to really focus. Now, if you want to finish out your vacation and do what you want, that's up to you. And I don't want to like try to dictate that, take all the fun away, but there's more fun in healthy eating and healthy living and feeling really good and having that energy. I always say that nothing tastes as good as feeling good does. And that's a little mantra that I've always taught people, and a mantra that I live by, and it's true. But healthy foods, if you make them right and learn how to eat, prepare them and whatnot, it's really amazing. So I would encourage you to start maybe looking down that path of what it means to eat healthy. Now, my book is called Empowering Your Health, but I mean, and there's a lot of good books out there. So if you get mine, find someone that you can figure out how to lower inflammation in the body, lower inflammation all the way around. And if you do that, you'll find a lot of the keys to really healthy living. Of course, drinking more water, exercise, all the basic lifestyle choices that it's kind of like common sense, but we just don't do it. A lot of people don't. Those make a major difference too, but knowing that you can change, that's the key. I know you're dealing with anxiety, but remember, everything in the body is tied with everything. So it's all about connecting the dots. And when you start connecting the dots, that's where you start finding the healing for what you're shooting for. Thanks so much for the call. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Or you can check us out on the web. You can get up with all that's going on the show. Avocado is our food for the day. I'm a big fan. Why? Because they're great for prostate health, but really so much, and they pack a huge punch. They're healthy fats, but they also contain folate, potassium, monounsaturated fats, and of course they're very high in fiber. And they contain oleic acid, which has been found to improve overall fat levels in the body and help control diabetes. So by using avocados, their main source is fat, of course, but they can lower triglycerides by up to 20%. Yes, I said lower your triglycerides by up to 20%. Pretty incredible. And help lower overall cholesterol. A low-fat diet containing avocados has been shown to both lower levels of dangerous low-density lipoprotein, that's the bad type of cholesterol, and raise the HDLs, that's the good kind of cholesterol. And the avocados are also a huge source of fiber, 10 grams and only one avocado. And we know, of course, that will help lower blood pressure, heart disease, and certain types of cancer, specifically colon cancer. They contain 30% more potassium than a banana. But don't go for the banana, go for the avocado. Potassium is beneficial in the body by lowering blood pressure, yada, yada, yada. So, as you can see, the benefits of avocados, I'm a big fan of. Most people worry about the fat, and I think it's ridiculous because the fat in these avocados is the kind of fat that you need. And most of us get a lot of the fat we don't need. By putting the good, healthy fats in, you'll notice a big difference in your overall health. Puts another hour in the charts. I'd like to thank our producer, Leslie Pardue, and the rest of the team. Go tell one person something you learned on this show, and together we can change the health of our friends, our families, and our communities. You're listening to the best in healthy talk radio, where we're diagnosing hope one person at a time.
Did you know you could listen to the Asa Rx audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
This episode is over, but check episode notes for links to products and services you've heard about on this episode. Thanks for listening and subscribing. Please share the Asa Rx audio experience with others and stay in touch by giving us your comment or review.
Hi, this is Asa, and welcome to my audio experience. So whatever it is, great or small, just know we're here to help. Here to take you from where you are in your current state of health to where you need to be. That's what it's all about. And that's what the show is all about as well. Don't forget to check out the website. There you'll find out great information to empower your health and to empower your life. Let's go to the phones and talk with Donnie. Hi, Donnie.
And I'm experiencing some balding in the front part of my head. It's thinning of the hair. I'm only 22, and I'm a little worried about this.
Okay, well, a couple things to think about. Now, of course, when balding starts, it's actually can be fairly common. Guys, depending on what's happening as far as the aging process, depending on your age bracket, I mean, whether you're 25, 35, or 45, male pattern baldness can start from a multitude of reasons. It can come from stress. It can happen just from a genetic component, and that tends to be the theory, is more genetic than anything. And when you're dealing with something like, the male pattern baldness, it really lays in the cards. Now, if it's genetic, there's not much you can do about it. But there's a couple of things you can do to slow it down. Of course, there's minoxidil and the Rogaine, and there's a lot of different topicals that you can use. And then, of course, Propecia, which is the medication that's been used to help slow things down. But remember, those will also lower your testosterone levels because they can interfere in that pathway. So you got to be a little bit careful with that. Now, nettle root, from a natural perspective, nettle root you can get at your local health food store, and it's been known to help block DHT, which is dihydrotestosterone. And the DHT, of course, it's a byproduct molecule of testosterone. It's really the most potent and the most powerful. And when, of course, when the DHT it gets blocked, of course, that cuts down on the follicle dying out. So, I mean, that's really what it comes down to more than anything. You want to focus on getting that set up as much as you can. And at the end of the day, one key you have to look at that's really important is that if it is genetic, there's not a whole lot you can do. And just, it's being a guy, no guy wants to lose their hair. Now, they've got the different replacement methods, of course. The hair transplants that they have now, there's different methods you can look into from a cosmetic perspective. But I'm just not a big fan of using the medications because it lowers your own hormone pathways themselves. Probably not the best way to go. Now, some guys don't care. They'd rather keep their hair and let their hormones drop. So, that's really going to be up to you. But at the end of the day, you want to focus more than anything, making sure your body chemistry is where it needs to be and the whole 9 yards. So, anyway, that's what I would look into. Testosterone, it's the byproduct DHT. It's in all the standard research of what that does, okay? 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. You're listening to On Call Radio. Check us out. There you get all kinds of information to empower your health and to empower your life. Now, if you're looking for a lifestyle provider, someone in your area that believes the same way we do, all this nutrition and based lifestyle care. Of course, you can go to the website there, and our team can help you find someone in your area. Happy to help any way that we can. Go back to the phones, and let's talk to Sarah. Hi, Sarah.
The problem is my mother is 93 years old, and she's taken tramadol for pain, and she's been not eating, having trouble using with her kidneys, a little bit of blood in them.
Okay, so she's having a little bit of blood in it. Well, I mean, again, working with her primary care doctor is going to be the biggest tool in this, and making sure that they are on top of it. And again, the blood in it can be coming from several different factors. Of course, they're going to have to look at kidneys, and as they look at the kidneys and they do the blood work, and they'll check and do everything they need to do all the standard medical testing. And that'll help figure out exactly what's going on. But I would have that tested first. Now, from more of a nutritional perspective, again, with pain meds, no matter what area of the body is in pain, and no matter what you're really treating with that, the one thing is for sure, making sure that the neurotransmitters and the brain chemicals are as healthy as possible. And one of the best ways to do it, of course, is managing. Can be very helpful. So if you manage dopamine levels, that's one of the big keys. And dopamine, of course, is one of the main neurochemicals. You can use, of course, plenty of the lean protein sources, chicken, fish, beef, or eggs. Pyridoxal 5-phosphate, P5P, has been very, very helpful in stabilizing that. And then also you got to watch out for the caffeine, because caffeine will split dopamine. As you split dopamine, one of the keys you've got to watch out for is tyrosine and phenylalanine. These are just two of the amino acids. Now, it doesn't mean you can drink all the caffeine you want and take tyrosine and phenylalanine. You don't want to do that either. But avoiding caffeine, using decaf versions of tea, for example, would be very helpful. But cutting that, raising dopamine levels, there's a lot of supplements out there at your health food store that can help with that. I like to use a lot of the whole foods, basically, to build those up as much as possible. And then you can kind of go from there. But omega-3 fats, that's a big one. And then also always look into that P5P. It's a different version of vitamin B6, but it works in an amazing way. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Check us out on the web. Now, so many people email and call and want to know about how to connect with us. Well, they're at the website. We've got all the different social media outlets. You can jump in with Facebook, Twitter, and also Instagram and all of those. They're at the website. And then our newsletter is out weekly now. Make sure to join that. You go to the website and you can join and sign in. Absolutely free. And it's a way for us to stay connected. We always release special information. We've got recipes and shake and smoothie recipes. It's incredible. So make sure to go to the website and sign up for that. And don't forget, our TV show has launched. And we want to make sure you're catching that in your area. And we've got information there at the site as well. And coming up, we got more calls. I see you sitting there. Don't worry. I'm going to jump in and grab you. Real quick, I've got Dean in Birmingham. Wants to know, my doctor said that my testosterone level is low. Are there some natural ways to boost testosterone? Maca root, ashwagandha, zinc is important, and keep your fat levels to about 30%. And make sure your doctor checks on the blood levels. We'll be right back. Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today. Lines are open, 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. What are you struggling with? Let's talk about it. Your health and your life. This show's all about you. It's all about your health. It's about going from where you are in your current state of health to where you need to be. Check us out on the web. Now, Americans are living longer than ever. That sounds good, right? You think about that. You always get studies that say, oh, we're dying early and that sort of thing. Well, Americans actually are living longer than ever. The CDC, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, said that now Americans are living longer than ever, and life expectancy is increasing every year. I mean, that really comes down to, I know that in a lot of the natural type content on the web and all, everybody knocks the different societies and the different organizations that say they're doing research for like cancer and heart disease and all that. And there are many places that kind of knock that. And, it's not my real opinion either way. One thing I do know, though, is that research is being done, and we are being more educated, and we are coming up with better treatments and in the medical world, and we are coming up with better lifestyle methods in more of the health and wellness world of being on the preventative side. We're learning more about exercise and its benefits, and we're learning more about what whole foods can do, and we're getting better at eliminating toxins from the environment, and we're understanding how to manage stress better, even in the middle of a very stressful world, seemingly. So in the middle of all that, we've got to look at the fact that our lifespan is increasing. It's pretty exciting to know that it's gone all the way up to about 78.7 years is the average person. Dr. David Katz, he's the director of the Yale University Prevention Research Center. And he said, to the extent that we all want a bounty of years in life, this report conveys encouraging news. I agree. Life expectancy at birth in the U.S. is rising for all groups. And in the years covered by the current report, life expectancy increased for both men and women. For males, life expectancy went from about 75 to those born in 2008 to 77, almost 80.6 years coming up. So that's pretty exciting. So it also changed by race. Of course, Caucasian, African American, Hispanics, they broke all that down. And they said it's been increasing steadily for about 50 years or so, which is great news. I mean, the great news I love about it is that we're seeing the improvements, all the work that we're doing and the research and the data and all this that we're working on makes a big difference. And we're learning now that it really can take us to the next level. Dr. Katz also said he really had no role in the report. He's just offering his opinion. But he says disparities in life expectancy persist both between men and women and between Caucasian and African Americans, he said. But life expectancy in the United States is still lower than for many developed countries around the world. So more importantly, this report is only about years in life, not about life in years. So it's about the quality. And recent analysis by the Institute of Medicine suggests that increases in lifespan in the United States are not really matched by increases in health span. So time spent living in good health, he said. So long life with high burden of chronic disease like diabetes and heart disease, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, means more time living with an illness or disability. So the life expectancy is greatly influenced by the advances in medicine and the public health system, while the health span is most affected by lifestyle practices. So again, it comes down to our choices that we make every single day. And it's exciting to see the real transformations in the system that are coming down the pipeline. It's all about the choices we make every single day and how well we can thrive, how well we can make it. And it comes down to attitude, too. Don't forget that our attitude every single day makes an incredible difference of what happens to our overall health. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. You're listening to On Call Radio. And check us out on the web. Let's go to the phones and talk with Lisa. Hi, Lisa.
I am plagued by severe hypnic jerks. They happen just as I start dozing off to sleep, and they are very acute. I was wondering if there's anything you could suggest for this.
Well, the leg jerks and all usually happen as a result of some kind of vitamin or mineral deficiency, but typically it's minerals. And with minerals, you've got to start thinking about magnesium, potassium, calcium, the basics. Now, stepping back just a couple of steps, understand that most people don't eat fruits and vegetables for the most part. I mean, some here and there, yes, but not on a consistent basis. And we know for a fact that if you only, I think it's 1.5% of Americans right now actually eat fruits and vegetables. So if we can get to a place where we can increase those, then you'll increase a lot of the mineral-rich content, the water content within the body, and that makes a major transition within our health. So a lot of the kicking and the jerking is due to magnesium and calcium. That's what typically can happen. And, of course, you just focus on getting those from dark leafy greens. You can get it from any of the real colorful fruits and vegetables. You cannot go wrong getting it from those. Now, you can supplement as well. Of course, they've got the different magnesiums. I like the magnesium chelates personally, and the glycinates are really, really good. You can get that at a local health food store. But the glycinates will come in and repair it really well, increases your sleep patterns too. Now, calcium is another bear in this that you have to look at. Now, don't forget that vitamin D3 is really the catalyst for everything that we see. And with the minerals, you can have all the minerals in the world going on in the bloodstream and in the tissues, but if you don't have enough vitamin D, it's not going to happen. So that's why getting a blood test done with your primary care is important, because getting that blood test done for your vitamin D levels to make sure they're good, making sure they're between 60 and 90 on the blood test per se. That's in the upper end of the range. When vitamin D is healthy, you are healthy. And you can really transform and go to another level when it gets to that place. So I would encourage you to have that done and get it checked out and have your doctor kind of look at all that. But your foods matter. What we put inside of our body matters. You've got to have the right stuff going in so you can have a healthy body with where you are. And that is what it's all about. Coming up, more information to empower your health and empower your life. Plus, we got our food of the day. Don't want to miss that. And we're going to jump in. And plus, there's more calls to get to. I see you waiting there, so don't go anywhere. We're going to jump in and get to you when we come back. Are you ready to chow? It's time for Keto Chow. When it comes to eating healthy, the keto diet has become one of the nutrition leaders in optimizing health, losing unwanted weight, and reaching your health and wellness goals. No extravagant cooking, no long kitchen cleanup, and most importantly, especially for me, it's convenient. Just put quality Keto Chow powder in a bottle, add some heavy whipping cream or your favorite fat, a little water, and boom, shake it up and you're ready to chow. Keto Chow tastes amazing. So make Keto Chow easy for you and your family today with Keto Chow. Let's go chow. Visit Keto Chow online at ketochow.xyz. That's ketochow.xyz.
To find out more, visit the show online,
Let's talk about olive oil for a little bit. It's one of my favorites. And, of course, you rarely see anything that says anything negative about olive oil. The only thing I don't like about it is you don't want to ever cook it, or when it becomes not so great, is when you cook it over about 350 degrees. That's when you have to be a little bit careful, just because there's a possibility of that oil turning a little bit rancid into possibly a trans fat. But the health benefits of olive oil in general are incredible. So they all say, most cardiologists recommend about 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil a day in any way you'd like to do it. So you can put it over salads, you can mix it in with vegetables, whatever. But it bolsters the immune system. Of course, it helps to protect against viruses and, of course, bacteria. It just keeps the immune system strong. They also say it's got great benefits that are supportive to cancer. Believe it or not, phytonutrient in olive oil called oleficanol mimics the effect of ibuprofen in reducing inflammation. That's powerful, which can decrease the risk of breast cancer and its recurrence. And the squalene and lignans are among the other olive oil components being studied for possible effects on cancer. Heart disease, they're saying the olive oil helps to lower levels of blood cholesterol, leading to heart disease. And, of course, oxidative stress. You've got olive oil is rich in antioxidants, especially in vitamin E. And it's long thought to minimize the cancer risk. Now, among plant oils, the olive oil is the highest in the monounsaturated fat, which doesn't oxidize the body, and it's low in polyunsaturated fats, too. Now, the blood pressure is really interesting, too, because recent studies indicate that regular consumption of olive oil can decrease both systolic and diastolic blood pressure. The diabetes, they say it's been demonstrated that a diet rich in olive oil in low in saturated fats, moderately rich in carbohydrates, and soluble fiber from fruit, vegetables, pulses, and grains, is the most effective approach for diabetics. So it helps to lower the bad cholesterol and improves blood sugar as well. So as far as the insulin sensitivity and blood sugar levels, it can help tremendously. Now, obesity is another big one, too. So it's high in calories, but again, it's good, healthy fats. It's monounsaturated fats. Remember, fats don't make us fat. The healthy kind. And you get loaded up with a bunch of saturated fat, and that can be a problem. But the big issue is if you focus on the right kind of fats, they can make a tremendous difference. Now, let's talk about rheumatoid arthritis for just a moment, too. So a lot of reasons they say it's not really clear, so they don't really understand why that olive oil is so beneficial to arthritis. I mean, it lowers inflammation. That's enough sense for me right there. They're saying that it's a real key in rheumatoid arthritis, which, of course, has an autoimmune component to it. Now, osteoporosis is another one as well. A high consumption of olive oil appears to improve bone mineralization and calcification. So it helps calcium absorption, and it plays an important role in aiding sufferers in the preventing onset of the osteoporosis. So again, and they're also saying that it might improve and help against stroke. So according to a new study from France, older individuals who consume olive oil daily may be able to protect themselves from stroke, a new study said. But it's an ongoing study by the Journal of Neurology. Researchers gathered information recently on the medical records of about 7,600 individuals. And in this, which is really interesting, they found that the participants who had a risk of stroke was lowered by about 41%. So the olive oil reduces the risk of type 2 diabetes. We know it manages and regulates blood sugar levels. So just like anything like your nuts and seeds and that sort of thing, the olive oil itself is tremendous. As a matter of fact, the Journals of Diabetes Care showed that a Mediterranean-style diet, which of course is rich in the omega-3 oils, specifically the monounsaturated, they said reduces the risk of type 2 diabetes by 50%. Now that's not like 5%, that's 50%. Which is a big deal. So that's why I say 30% of your diet needs to be in healthy fats. I will preach that till the cows come home, because our body needs it. Our body needs fat. Fat is not going to make you fat. We've got to have it. So getting your fats in makes a big difference in your overall health. We need the calories that come from that. It's good for our brain. It's good for nervous system. I mean, it's really powerful all the way around. And of course, they're saying now all cardiologists just rant and rave, because the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition has compared the effect of the Mediterranean-style rich diet in olive oil with that of a low-fat, high-carbohydrate diet, and it was night and day of what it did to cell damage. I mean, it was incredible. Now, olive oil helps to fight osteoporosis as well. So osteoporosis, of course, is the softening of the bones, and it's the decrease in bone mass, basically. So the disease is recognized by being particularly prevalent among postmenopausal women who have a decrease in the production of estrogen. And tests were carried out recently on rats showing comparable conditions to female menopause, which, with one group being treated orally with olive oil. At the end of the experiment, the results found that rats not treated with olive oil showed a significant decrease in the calcium levels. And, of course, that made a big difference as well. So interesting. And they're saying now, of course, it can help against depression. And the bottom line with this is University of Navarra in Las Palmas, they did a study on this. And about 12,000 volunteers were in this project. It's interesting because in a study like this, they found that the risk of depression, or someone that had depression, when they took 2 tablespoons a day of olive oil, it changed their entire brain chemistry, their overall mood, and their outlook by 50%. I can't tell you, when you add fats to someone's diet, the right kind of fats, and they have any kind of issue. I mean, heart disease, they've got brain chemistry issues, depression, anxiety, back pain, neck pain, headaches, whatever. If you start someone, you don't even need to be a doctor. Talk to your friends. If you know somebody that's dealing with anything, ask them if they're taking fish oil or if they're using olive oil every day. I mean, something that simple. Getting the fats in your diet every day will make a tremendous difference. So, tremendous. I mean, it's incredible. Matter of fact, even with skin cancer, they did a study at the University of Tel Aviv in Israel, and they found that a diet that's rich in the omega-3 fats and rich in the monounsaturated fats like olive oil actually the skin created a resistance to the damaging rays of the sun, because it's loaded with carotenoids. And the tomatoes, pumpkins, carrots, that sort of thing, even watermelons, contain incredible ingredients. So the olive oil is just tremendous and how it can do that. Now, one other thing, of course, we talk about metabolic syndrome. If you don't know what that is, the metabolic syndrome, of course, is a combination. It's when we have metabolic syndrome, it's basically somebody has high blood pressure, they've got abnormal cholesterol and high blood sugar all together. Like it's just an abdominal obesity, so they have belly fat. So the metabolic syndrome is a connection to the obesity epidemic of our time, and big belly poisons our metabolism, and a poison metabolism will result in type 2 diabetes, heart attacks, and even sudden death. And so a new study concluded data from almost 530,000 people with the conclusion that Mediterranean-style diets which include the consumption of monounsaturated fats, mainly in olive oil, fruits, vegetables, whole grain cereals, and low-fat dairy products, with your protein sources coming from fish, poultry, legumes, and low consumption of red meat. Significantly reduce this whole metabolic syndrome that they talk about. So again, diet's a key. You want to make some major transitions in your life and really see a difference in the way that you feel day in and day out, then look at the way you're eating every day. That will make a big difference. And if you just do these little changes, the little ones, it's amazing. You just see the difference every single day. 888-283-7272. Lines are open with questions about your health. Check us out on the web. Quote of the day comes from Edwin Lewis Cole. He says, the degree of loving is measured by the degree of giving. And that's so true. So the way you give shows how much you love. You ever look at that? Ever want to know what your love cup looks like? Look at your giving cup. And that way you can kind of see. And you know what's interesting is with our health, which I think is so important, the way that we give and show our love to others will come back to you in your health. The reason is you can take someone that's depressed, okay? Someone that's in serious states of depression. They're really struggling on medications, the whole 9 yards. And you take that person and take them out into a place. Maybe it's to give to play. Let's say they love children. And you go put them in an orphanage where they're reading to the kids or they're playing with the kids and making those kids' lives better and get them out of their personal environment. All of a sudden, that person will come away with a feeling that is so much greater than what medication could ever give them. Why? Because they stepped out of themselves, out of their own situation, out of their own funk that they're in, and they poured into someone else. And they gave their gifts and gave of their talents and realized that they had value as a person and gave. And so the most powerful form of love is giving. And many times people that deal with depression, there's brain chemistry instabilities, but there's also love issues that are involved. So if you want to fix the love issue, fix the giving issue, and you will find that really everything will shake itself out, and you'll notice that you begin to feel better. That's so why if you ever get down in the dumps, go find a way to give. Give in an area that you know that you have gifts and talents to give in, and do it on a regular basis, and watch what happens to the way that you feel. 888-283-7272. Lines are open. Questions about your health. Check us out on the web. We'll be right back. Did you know that you can listen to the Asa Rx audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
Connect with On Call Radio and watch On Call TV at InShapeNetwork.com.
Whatever you're struggling with, we're here to help. We're here to take you from where you are in your current state of health to where you need to be. Why? Because you matter. Let's go to the phones and talk with June. Hi, June.
Pancreatic cancer, stage 4, and I was wanting some things I could do to improve my health.
All right, pancreatic cancer, stage 4. Let's talk about it. And, you know, one of the challenges, of course, as any physician will tell you, of course, are the aggressive stages of pancreatic cancer. But the good news is that the body's always in a stage of regenerating. So if you can focus on, of course, as you've got a great oncology team, I'm sure, and listening to what they're telling you and following their protocols and everything, one thing you want to focus on that's extremely important is for them to help you, or to get a dietitian or nutritionist to help you with your eating habits, because every day that goes by putting the right kind of foods in, you can help the body recreate and regenerate new healthy cells, because each day old cells are dying off, new cells are forming, and we get a brand new body every couple of years, right? Well, the pancreas are very, very sensitive. The pancreas is very, very sensitive, and the deal is you've got to be very cautious when you get into stage 4. I mean, you can get into the juicing and get into the really high nutrient dense whole foods with the vegetables and all that. And there's some great clinics that will help you walk through that process. I mean, you got some down, I believe, in San Diego, and you got Dr. Gonzalez down in Texas, I believe, is where he's located. There's some great alternative doctors that are getting great results. So you might want to do some research and look into those. But I'll tell you from the basics, at this point, I personally am a big fan of blending the two theories together, especially at stage 4. And that's doing the traditional treatment, because you want to hit it as hard as you can and aggressive as possible. But you have to do something on the natural side to really support the body and to give it every chance that it can to really be supported. And so that's the real key. Now, along with that, to be really, really on top of it, I guess, as you would say, is don't forget, even in the middle of being weak or maybe tired and not really feeling that great, is to make sure you get plenty of exercise as much as you can, because it does so much with the body. It's great for the cardiovascular system. When you move the body at any level, if it's just walking or riding a bike or whatever it might be, you're increasing the lymphatic system. And our body's natural lymphatic system helps to get rid of toxins from the body. The more we can do that, the more you can help your body in the process of it kind of cleaning itself out. So those are tools you can use every single day. But pancreatic stage 4, again, it's a challenge, no doubt about it. But in the middle of all I just want you to hear me on this. In the middle of all the fear that might be in the middle of it, and of the doctors giving you the real stats and the real data that they have to do for ethics, and to let you know what's really coming down the pipeline, or technically what would, there's still hope, and there's still, something to think about. Is just the one that made you is, I believe, and I've seen with my own eyes, people that have come through some of the most incredible circumstances. So continue to have faith, continue to pray, and have people around you that will support you to keep you strong. And then also, more than anything, really reach out if it's you or a loved one that is fighting, and make sure that your eating habits, your lifestyle habits, your daily habits are in check, and that they're doing well, and that you've got a good game plan together. Have multitude of counsel through this. It's one of the best ways to go, okay? Call us if you need us. 888-283-7272. That's 888-283-7272. Check us out on the web. Let's go to Linda. Hi, Linda.
Calling in regards for my daughter, Christina. She has had low iron, and they have put her on iron tablets, iron pills. But apparently the body's not absorbing the iron pills. So now she's been going to iron infusions that take about an hour or so. I was just wondering if there's anything else that she's able to take by mouth instead of going to this iron infusions. I would appreciate it.
Yeah, the iron infusions, depending on how anemic a person is, typically the physicians, if they go to that level, it's pretty low. I mean, it's enough for them to want to intervene and get it up as rapidly as possible, because the iron itself puts oxygen into the cells, and that enough is extremely important. Now, the other key is there's liquid ionic iron, which is very easy for the body to absorb. It doesn't really create a lot of the constipation issues that's always a concern. And you might want to look into that. It's just a liquid ionic iron. But again, don't forget, and they probably already told you this, have someone that can work with you and look at vitamin C levels too, because even though she may have plenty of iron going, in the body, it's important to get enough vitamin C because the higher levels of vitamin C will help the iron absorb into the cells and the tissues. And again, plenty of fruits and vegetables, dark leafy greens. I'm a big fan of red meat. I like bison, a lot of the wild game type meat. It's loaded with iron. And so again, if you're dealing with anemia and you're off of all those kind of meats, that's where a lot of the challenge comes in. And getting the right foods and the whole foods back into the diet can play a big role. Let the doc know and get some blood testing done about every 3 months. Puts another hour in the charts. I want to thank our producer, Jay Patrick. Go tell one person something you learned on this show, and together we can transform the health of our friends, our families, and our communities.
Did you know you could listen to the Asa Rx audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
This episode is over, but check episode notes for links to products and services you've heard about on this episode. Thanks for listening and subscribing. Please share the Asa Rx audio experience with others and stay in touch by giving us your comment or review.
Hi, this is Asa, and welcome to my audio experience. Michelle, we're kicking off with you. How can I help, Nora?
Hi.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I am living well. What's up?
Good. Well, I've been to the doctor a couple of times about an issue with abdominal pain.
Okay.
It's always localized, like right below my right rib cage,
mm-hmm.
and in the gallbladder area.
Sure.
It's not something that's always constant. It comes and goes. I'll go weeks without it hurting at all, and then when it does start hurting, it's every time I eat. All of the signs of a gallbladder issue that you would read about on the internet or whatnot. So,
right.
My doctor's wanting to go ahead and do ultrasound, PITA scans, all of that stuff. And I know that a lot of doctors can be really quick to diagnose abdominal pain with the gallbladder. So I'm just trying to see if there's anything that I can do or if there's anything else that it could be to kind of avoid going that direction.
Well, let's talk about it. Let's back up for just a second. Okay, so it comes and goes. It's pain underneath the rib cage. And so it's not constant, right? When it happens, does it feel kind of crampy a little bit? Like it grabs you?
When it's not when it's not severe, yes, it feels like a dull ache or cramp under there. But when it at periods of time, it literally stops me where I'm at, and I kind of have to I grab it. I don't know. It doesn't really help at all, but it kind of stops me in my tracks and almost brings tears to my eyes because it almost feels like I've never been stabbed, but I guess that would be the, the terminology for it is a stabbing pain.
Stabbing pain. Yeah, and let's see what's the best way to say this. How are you under a lot of stress at all?
Aren't we all?
Yeah,
yes,
but when I say that, yeah, I mean, we all are.
Yeah.
I mean, if you live in America right now, everybody is. But
yeah, I'm under a high-stress situation. I mean, I have a stressful job. I just lost my father 5 months ago, and taking care of a 4-year-old and things like that. But, yeah.
Are you close with your dad?
Oh, extremely.
In Chinese medicine, when you go through extreme periods of any emotion, whether it be guilt or blame or there's more I could have done or I wish I had him still here. Or there's emotions that happen that when they're so intense. So if you were that close to your dad, if they were so intense that it directly affects certain organ systems, and a lot of times, and this is definitely not standard medicine. There's nowhere in the medical textbooks that talk about this at all. But in Chinese medicine, they talk about it a lot. And, of course, that's been around a lot longer than our system. So it's pretty amazing. And what happens is it drives down your acetylcholine levels, which is one of the brain chemicals. But, I mean, the bottom line is I could tell you two things. That's just my thought, okay? The root cause of these kind of things typically are a loss. Like when you said you lost your dad 5 months ago, that was a huge statement. Because I know you got responsibilities with your child and all of that, but, I mean, if you got a high-stress job, are you a single mom or are you married?
Single mom.
Yeah. And so your dad was probably your anchor.
Yeah, he helped a lot with my son. I have a wonderful boyfriend that helps tremendously as well, but there's always that gap of, something missing, and I haven't had time to grieve. I was only off for 3 days after his death, and, I work in oncology and multi-specialty and stuff, so it's, I can't miss work. There's other people who are depending on these medications, and it's something that I had to get back to work. It was a brand new job, and then he passed, and it's definitely been stressful, and I've been trying to get into talk to someone about it and stuff, but doctor just prescribed me low-dose Xanax for sleep, and for, anxiety and panic attacks directly after the passing. But other than that, I haven't really taken that medication for, probably at least a month and a half to 2 months. So that's, just that pain in my stomach. But
well, and that's pretty normal. I mean, like you said, you didn't have time to grieve. So, you know what I mean? So you've gone through one of the toughest, I think it's one of the toughest losses in life is to lose your father and your mother. I mean, it's very difficult. It's a tough thing to go through. And yeah, I mean, those are natural emotions. And I've seen that a ton with people where they have the pain in the rib cage right there. So that's why if you did the scan and all that right now, the standard test that we use just to check kind of the function of the gallbladder, it would be doing pretty decent. And that's why it comes and goes like that. And you carry a lot of that. It's weird. The emotions kind of store themselves in certain organ systems. And that like I said, if you're in the healthcare field at all, that's not standard medicine. But if you study acupuncture and if you study Chinese medicine, it's written all over the place and pretty amazing. The mind, how it affects the body is pretty unbelievable. So, I mean, what do you do from this point? One is you definitely want to take, and I don't know what this means for you, but as you're kind of grieving through this and going through this, is make sure you take time to do that and don't just run in the rat race and then all of a sudden it's Christmas and you still haven't, you just kind of tucked it down. Because when you tuck it, guess where it's going? It's going down, and that's some of the pains that you're feeling because you're not releasing those emotions and letting them out. And it's tough to do, I know, but that's the case. There's a lot of things you can do nutritionally to support it, to keep your acetylcholine levels up. But again, the negative emotions typically on the inside, when you hold them in, that's a big key. Nutritionally, there's a lot of things that'll bring acetylcholine levels up. Eggs are really good. All your protein-rich foods like red meat, organic and grass-fed, of course, and turkey, salmon. A lot of the fish are really good at bringing acetylcholine levels up. And there's some good supplements, too. Your healthy fats like almonds and walnuts, avocados. Make sure that during this time, with work and being a single mom and everything, that your nutrition stays on top. Got to be really good on the nutritional side. And that's going to be your best weapon as you walk through this. Vitamin B6 can be helpful. But I'll tell you some things that were taught to me by a professor in medical school that I just found so interesting, and it lined up with everything I had learned just around a lot of the natural things I've always studied. But phosphatidylcholine, which is lecithin, you can get that as a supplement. He actually taught us in class, I'll never forget it, that when you raise phosphatidylcholine and lecithin in the body, it raises acetylcholine before bedtime and can put you into a deep REM stage sleep. Well, at that time I was in med school, so of course I was stressed out and not sleeping, right? And I tried it myself. I was dreaming like vivid dreams. So those are some things you might want to consider as you're walking through this process. Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
To find out more, connect with On Call Radio online at InShapeNetwork.com.
Phone lines are open, 888-283-7272. Welcome back to the show. Are you a big chili pepper fan? Well, you should be, because they found now that there's a component in chili peppers that can aid in weight loss and also battle against fat buildup by promoting helpful protein changes. A new study reports scientist John Won Yoon and his colleagues believe the findings could bring about new ways to treat obesity, which is a global health threat linked to diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart disease. Obesity may also cause asthma and even prostate cancer. For their study, scientists fed lab rats a high-fat diet, and some of the diets were supplemented with the component found in chili peppers. Now, the results showed that this component in the treated rats lost 8% of their body weight and showed changes in levels of at least 20 key proteins found in fat. These changes provide valuable information about the new molecular insights into a mechanism of the anti-obesity effects of chili peppers. So look into chili peppers and keep them a part of your regular diet. Even they can, of course, they have them in a supplemental form as well. But keep that up, because the benefits of that, along with, of course, conjugated linoleic acid, CLA, and green tea extract, all of those have produced incredible health benefits all the way around, especially a lot of the polyphenols that are involved in that and take you to the next level in your health. 888-283-7272. Lines are open. Our preferred wellness providers are healthcare providers in your area that believe the same way we do: nutrition, prevention, and lifestyle-based care. So if you need to find someone in your area, our preferred wellness provider team members are available every single day to help you go from where you are to where you need to be. Daryl, you're next with us on the show.
Hey, how you doing, Doc?
Yeah, I'm living well. What's up, Daryl?
Well, I went to the doctor for a routine, checkup, physical, and they did blood work, and they found that I had low platelets. It was in the 40,000 range, is what he was saying.
Okay.
So when he promoted me to a hematologist, and the hematologist, it finally came up to about 60-something, so it's been staying steady. So I've been going to the doctor about every 3 months now. And I just wondered if there was anything natural or any way to kind of, get a boost in the platelets,
Well, there's a couple things you can do. Did they suggest anything to you at all?
Well, they did a steroid type of deal for about 2 weeks, and it didn't really do a whole lot. And so I was just trying to find out, I forget the name of the steroid, but it didn't seem to do anything but just really make me have sweat problems at night, when I sleep.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of things that can be real helpful. A lot of times when your platelets are low, unless there's a serious medical issue going on, the platelet count can go up by using vitamin K. And vitamin K can be taken in a liquid form. Mm-hmm. A lot of health food stores have it. But the best source of vitamin K are dark leafy greens like kale and spinach, and including that 3 or 4 times in your diet per day, whether you blend it up and use it in shakes or smoothies, or if you just eat it like salad. But, the dark leafy greens play such a big role in our overall health. It's amazing at what it does. So it might be something you consider, just including in your diet, but you will notice a major difference. Like if you do your blood work and about 8 weeks later, let's say you do 3 or 4 servings of dark leafy greens and use vitamin K, you'll notice a drastic difference in 8 weeks in your blood work. And again, provided unless there's something just in a major capacity that's holding them down. So you might want to look at that. And it's just good for your health anyway, as far as increasing the greens. Now, the vitamin K supplement form will really put it over the top. So you might want to just use the foods. That's what a lot of doctors recommend and nutritionists recommend, is just by increasing a lot of the dark leafy greens daily and see how that changes. Plus, you're going to get plenty of iron, you get plenty of B12, and you'll get they're just packed full of nutrients to increase your overall health. So just a couple of things to think about, kind of when you're in your journey. And the other thing, too, is it doesn't really have an effect on platelet count so much, but sublingual B12 can be helpful, too, for overall energy levels, especially in that type of situation. All right, 888-283-7272. Lines are open with questions about your health. Let's go now to Julia. Hi, Julia.
Hello. How are you?
I'm living well, darling.
Good.
How can I help?
I have a question. I've been following blood tests for about 10 years for my body, thinking I had arthritis back when I was in my late 20s. I've had a stressful life. My fingers are now feeling at 47. This is quite a significant time lapse, but there's a tightness on the tops of my fingers below the knuckles.
Okay.
Below the top knuckles.
Below the top knuckles. Okay.
Yes. And so I have had my ANA tested, and my general question, that's an anti-nuclear antibodies and they're kind of high. They're not extremely high. My rheumatologist says there's no lupus. Physically, my feet are funny. I get numbness in my feet, and my fingers are bothering me. I don't want to have a crooked hand the next time I talk to you, and I don't want to have claw fingers the next time I speak to you.
I agree.
I know there's a lifestyle issue that I'm having. It's absolute isolation is what I'm living in right now.
You are?
Yes, I'm living in an isolated environment. And it's going to, I have to break the isolation at some point. And lifestyle, I'm going into a lifestyle change. I just lost my mother, and that really, in October, and that really kind of messed me up with the grief. So, as soon as my mother died, my face just didn't stop getting red all the time.
Were you close with her?
My mother?
Yeah.
She was close with me.
I got it. So there's a lot of unresolved issues that you had with your mom that you never got to really resolve, right?
So she was a lovely woman. There's a lot of, yes, exactly, right, yeah.
Yeah, and so you're still carrying that. Let's do this. We're going into a break right now, and let's come back to this for just a minute. We'll talk about, I know, some of the changes that are happening in your joints, but also we'll get into some of the other issues. So hang tight, and we'll tackle that in just a minute. 888-283-7272. Lines are open. Questions about your health. We'll be right back with more Healthy Talk Radio.
Are you ready to chow? It's time for Keto Chow. When it comes to eating healthy, the keto diet has become one of the nutrition leaders in optimizing health, losing unwanted weight, and reaching your health and wellness goals. No extravagant cooking, no long kitchen cleanup, and most importantly, especially for me, it's convenient. Just put quality Keto Chow powder in a bottle, add some heavy whipping cream or your favorite fat, a little water, and boom, shake it up and you're ready to chow. Keto Chow tastes amazing. So make Keto Chow easy for you and your family today with Keto Chow. Let's go chow. Visit Keto Chow online at ketochow.xyz. That's ketochow.xyz.
To find out more, visit the show online, InShapeNetwork.com.
Talking with Julia. Julia, we were talking a little bit about just your hands and some other issues. So let's go back to that for just a minute. So you've been having some pain above the knuckles. Is that right, where they get kind of tight? And we were talking about how you lost your mother several months ago, and that was a challenge within itself. So you know that that's played a role in some of the issues. Living in a little bit of isolation now. And if you had to ask a question, what would it be? Like where, I know you're painting the story for me, and that's good, but like if we could tackle something, what would you want to tackle? The joint pain?
My inflammation, and it's not just, I think I think I'm dealing with therapy. I've dealt with therapists since I was 13 years old. I'm 47. I got it. That's not been tapped into, and I'm a Christian, so I mean, I'm born again. That is not something. The psychotropics for 20 years.
Yeah, I understand.
Antidepressants for 20 years. This body has gone through not clinical depressions, but I live up in New York, right below Canada, and I'm focused. I have seasonal affected very badly up here.
Okay.
Matter of fact, my body is coming alive again. I know that sounds a little unusual.
No, it's not. It's actually pretty common, especially for that area. Like Albany, Utica, Syracuse, that area just gets that haze over it during the wintertime, I've heard.
All the time.
Yeah.
And it's not just the cold and the snow, it's the gray.
Right.
Yeah. So it's rough. It's rough on my body. I'm healthy. I don't have any habits except that I don't have continuity in my eating. I probably don't eat I'm a little erratic in my eating. I'm not terribly overweight, maybe 10 pounds. I do have a good doctor who is actually saying, well, a lot of doctors are saying, like you had said tonight, that food is medicine, and I wholeheartedly believe that. But sometimes I don't have any appetite, and that's another problem. You know, I've had some, but the psychotropics are bothering me. And I do have a question about my father, who's 81. I have to ask that later.
That's okay. I think one of the biggest things for you really to tackle is to come up with a solid game plan, an eating game plan that's going to lower inflammation in the body, that's steady, and the anti-inflammatory diet would be really good for that. It's just basically lean quality proteins like chicken, fish, beef, and eggs. It's real balanced. The lower glycemic carbs, which I'm sure you're familiar with, like the fruits and vegetables, and then the healthy fats. And I like to do 3 meals a day and a couple of snacks in between so you're steady, your blood sugar stays steady. And that's really important, too, for brain chemistry, for things like dopamine and serotonin and keeping GABA levels stable. All of that is really important. That's why the proteins and the fats balanced out, steady throughout the day can make such a big difference in your overall brain chemistry. And for you, I think that would play a big role, too. Do you ever get your vitamin D tested? You probably do, but have you had it checked recently?
My protein's fine. Or my GABA or my D is fine.
It is?
D is fine, yeah.
Okay, good. That's good. Plenty of fish oil?
No, I don't, and I don't know where to actually get pure fish oil, good fish oil.
There's the website to go to is lifestyleresearch.org. It's a mercury-free fish oil. Really good. So, that is a big key. When you're dealing with some of the things you're talking about, fish oil, I know it sounds so remedial, but if it's not a part of your daily routine, then you'll notice a difference. You'll notice in your brain chemistry, you'll notice in your joints, you'll notice in your gut, you'll notice in your skin, your hair, your nails, and your hormones. That is kind of like I think that's more important than a multivitamin. If you have to ask me, throw away everything and take one thing, I would say fish oil, literally, just from the research I've seen and things I've studied. Now, vitamin D runs a close second, but see, if you take cod liver oil, it's got vitamin A and vitamin D naturally occurring in it already. So that can be really helpful. So I think dietary changes for you sounds like it's going to be, kind of the best choice and avenue. The good news is that even though you've gone through this and you've been going through it for years, is that you've got a pretty good self-awareness, it sounds like, for yourself. Like you're pretty aware of what's going on. And a lot of people don't even have that. So the fact that you have that, you just need some tools that will kind of maintain and kind of take you up to the next level and keep you steady. So we're coming into a new place now where even the gray is still there a little bit. The sun will start poking out again, which is great. Now, what were you talking about your dad?
Reduce the pain in my fingers. Is that going to go eventually if I stay steady? Did that eventually leave me?
It's tough to say unless, I was your doctor there and can monitor you all the time. I can tell you just in general that people that I've seen and worked with through the years, that it helped tremendously with issues of arthritis and joint pain. And I've seen tremendous results. And, of course, everybody throws the disclaimer that it varies with different people. But as a whole, so are you asking me, should you take them or should you not? Or what do I think about it? What is your question about them?
And should I stop taking them?
I can't tell you that. That's that's a question for somebody that has to be overseeing you and watching you. I mean, I think they have their place. I don't think they're crazy to take or, terrible for your health. I think short term they can help stabilize brain chemistry. That's my thought with it, because I'm not against medicine at all. And I think they do have their place. But I think it's more about long term, unless it's bipolar. I think that it really comes down to getting the brain chemistry balanced through nutrition, and you can do that. And I talk about that in my book, and it's really, from what I've seen, that, let's say that psychotropics were stabilizing you, okay, at, 90%. And let's say that you started eating well and really focused on the nutrition to help brain chemistry. Let's say that brought it up to where the nutrition kept it to where, from the drug perspective, you went from it managing it 90% down to maybe 30%. So maybe you still had to take some at some level, but the nutrition really balanced things out quite a bit. That is possible. But again, you've got to work with your doctor on that and have somebody that can come up with a game plan and walk you through it. So, I mean, can you come off of them? Only they can tell you that. And what I mean by that is they really have to, I would have to walk with you day to day and see all the progress and know and see 5 years ago and know all of that. I can hear you. But to make that kind of call, they need to make that kind of call. But is it possible? Yeah, anything's possible, as long as you're willing to get brain chemistry stabilized and change your nutrition and make some steady lifestyle changes. I guess if your question is, do I always have to be taking this? I really can't answer that, but I can tell you that I've seen plenty of people not have to, that have gone to live pretty steady, stable lives. So, but everybody's different, and only you can stick your toe in the water or jump in the water and start walking through some of these natural things and work with your doctor, and you guys create a good team effort around it. So I can tackle this thing about your dad, and then we've got some calls I got to grab.
Okay. Neuropathy of the feet, 81 years old, diabetes 2.
Okay. Neuropathy of the feet, that's an easy one, okay? Here's the deal. Now, first and foremost, obviously get his diet right, get his lifestyle habits right, exercise, and drink plenty of water, half his body weight in ounces of water every single day. Type 2 diabetes, pretty easy to tackle in the regard of a neuropathy. Vitamin B6, pyridoxamine. Now, they have actually taken that and made a prescription out of it. So if he wants, his doctor can probably write him a script, and he can get it. Of course, it's not going to be a whole food-based vitamin, which I'm a bigger fan of. You can go to the health food store and get pyridoxamine, which is that certain molecule variety of vitamin B6, and it can be extremely helpful with what he's going through. It makes a huge difference within that neuropathy. And, of course, again, omega-3 fatty acids and vitamin D, those go hand in hand as well when you're dealing with something like that. But, I mean, his diet is the key. Getting the pancreas functioning at a better level, getting the receptors working better with type 2 diabetes, all of that, coming up with a game plan. It might be something kind of cool for you guys to do together as far as the dietary changes, keep each other accountable. It's always fun to do it with someone when you're making changes like that. But, I mean, at the end of the day, that's kind of the key to really go to the next level, in my opinion, because with him and the neuropathy, it's a simple deficiency, and it comes from poor diet over a long period of time that builds up, and then you get the deficiency, and then there you go. So anyway, hope that helps. Thanks for the call. 888-283-7272. Lines are open. Questions about your health? Let's go to Dale. Hi, Dale.
Hey, man. You got a really interesting program. I really enjoy it.
Well, thanks a lot. Appreciate that. How can I help?
I'm 57 years old. I weigh 250 pounds. I'm 6'4". I'm in pretty good health overall. I've been going through some things, and I'd like to just kind of do a reset, just to, just to be able to have some time to think real clearly about some issues in my life, and just kind of, like I said, just do a reevaluation and a reset, and drop some weight and get a lot of toxins out of my body. I've been on the road for years and years and just have to eat fast food all the time. And I was wondering about your opinion on going on a long, like an extended, like a 28-day fast, nothing but water.
Well, the reset button are a couple things. when you want to kind of reset and kind of do a jump start and reboot everything, there are some basic principles that I teach that everyone needs to follow, I think, no matter what you're dealing with. And I'll tell you what, we'll jump into that when I come out of this break. There's some basic principles, but there's some certain keys there, including a partial day fast that can be very helpful to clean the system out, stimulate your body's own natural detoxification system, and increase hormones like growth hormone, which is kind of our fountain of youth hormone. And I'll explain how all that works when we come back.
Did you know that you can listen to the Asa Rx audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
Connect with On Call Radio and watch On Call TV at InShapeNetwork.com.
Lines are open, 888-283-7272. Welcome back to the show. This is the show where your health is your greatest wealth. Dale, we were talking and going into the break and just coming up with a new game plan of really what it means to kind of reset the body. We're talking about doing a partial day fast, what that can do. And there's a lot of things. I've kind of got my basic steps of what I usually teach. Number one is you always want to start changing the way you eat. Change the way you eat, you'll change the way you live. So the anti-inflammatory diet, great way to go on that. First things first, and I think that's the most important change anyone can make on a regular basis. Number two is to start using the foundational 4 supplements. These are the 4 basic nutrients that our bodies need regardless, no matter, because our food supply is depleted, no matter how organic it is. Our soil's depleted. That's a good whole food multivitamin, digestive enzymes to break down your food better, cod liver oil for the omega-3 fats, vitamin A, vitamin D, and probiotics, which put the good bacteria back in the digestive tract. So all of that's important, foundational 4. Number 3 is to get your blood work done every 6 months from a nutritional-based analysis with your physician so you can see what kind of nutritional deficiencies might be happening within the body. So that's also something that's really beneficial. Then drinking water. Half your body weight in ounces of non-chlorinated, I like distilled water. It just increases overall function of the body, helps you, of course, burn body fat. It cleanses the body. Just a great thing and great habit to get into. And then number 5 is exercise 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, doing something you enjoy. So those are 5 real key categories. The fasting comes in and can really stimulate, and a lot of people don't do that, but partial day fast 1 day a week is so vital because when you fast, it's proven and research has shown that when you go through a fasting period, that it releases key hormones in the body that increase longevity. Like your human growth hormone levels, they go through the roof when you go through periods of not eating. And so that's why they repair, when your body repairs at night and you go through that fasting period while you're sleeping, that's why the growth hormone is released at night. And you can actually get that same process happening during the day if you cut down and you go through a fast. You can do vegetable juices and things of that nature throughout the day, but you want to keep the food to a minimum and keep the water intake up. Yeah, that makes a huge difference. But we've always known that partial day fast or any type of fasting can be beneficial to the body as long as it's controlled and it's under a doctor's supervision at some level, and they give you the okay to do that, provided you don't have any major blood sugar issues or anything going on. So just a couple things to think about. I think that if you're wanting to get that reboot, that's a good way to go because so many times we get in a rut and we just keep doing the same things over and over again. And we expect different results, but that's never going to happen. We got to make radical changes. So would you say that in the middle of this, with what you're looking at, would those changes be tough for you, or you think you can pull through and make those happen?
Yeah, especially if I had the list that you just spoke about in writing somewhere.
Yeah. Well, you can drop those down. You can call our office during the day. Our office, there's a staff of people that will be able to get all that information to you and get you the resources and things that you need to be successful with that. Because the reality is, once you start down this journey you'll be amazed that when you look back, you're like, I can't believe I ever lived the way I did, that I'm healthier than I've ever been. I feel better than I ever have. And you'll notice such a big difference in your overall health. So get in touch with the staff. They'll be able to give you all the details of what we just chatted about. 888-283-7272. Lines are open with questions about your health. Red onions are our food for the day. They can be used as vegetables. They can be used as spices, and some even call it medicine. But the following are some of the health benefits of onions. I love food for the day because food can really be our best medicine. They have thiosulfonates, which are present in the red onion, and they have antimicrobial properties. So our foods, you remember this, the foods that you eat every single day can and will determine the kind of health you're going to have tomorrow. And this is one of the great components. I love red onions. I love to cook with them. I love to eat them just raw on whatever I'm eating with vegetables. It's phenomenal. So the red onion has strong antibacterial properties, and it's effective against Bacillus, E. coli, and Salmonella. The red onion has also some importance as it's a remedy for various diseases, as early Americans used it for cough and cold, asthma, and insect repellent. In Chinese medicine, it's used to treat coughs, breathing problems, bacterial infections, and angina, which is kind of the tightening of the chest. The World Health Organization supports the use of red onions to treat asthma, cold, cough, and bronchitis. So they actually support that. And you'd be amazed, actually, from more of a natural-based perspective, the World Health Organization, how many things that they do support as far as foods being supportive to our overall health. Red onions also have plenty of fructooligosaccharides, which stimulate the growth of bifidobacteria, which is good, healthy gut bacteria, and suppresses the growth of harmful bacteria in the colon. Red onions are also natural anti-clotting agents and help suppress platelet clumping due to their sulfur content. Consumption of these also can reduce the risk of stomach cancer and ulcers. They're also extremely important for healthy bones. Don't need to go over anything else. Are you going to start eating the red onions because it makes a big difference, and they're cheap, especially today. So the red onions are also less in calories and fats. Now, your wife or your husband may not like you. That's a big warning when you eat a bunch of red onions. So you may not be kissing anybody. Matter of fact, you may not be talking to anybody. They may run the other way. But look at all the health benefits. So it's catch-22. Or you might like that with your spouse. Eat a bunch of onions, they'll leave you alone. Puts another hour in the charts. I'd like to thank my producer, Jay Patrick, Leslie Pardue, John Garrison, and the rest of the team. Our scripture for the day, John chapter 16, verse 33, says, I've told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you'll have trouble, lots of it, but take heart. I have overcome the world. Man may give you a diagnosis, but remember this, God is the only one that can give you a true prognosis. The great physician has a prescription for you to live your best life now. Forget about the past. It's gone. Focus on today. That's your gift. And realize your best days are still ahead.
Did you know you can listen to the Asa Rx audio experience on Spotify and Pandora? For all the ways to watch and listen, check out our show page at asarx.com/experience.
Hi, it's Asa. I'm giving you a copy of my best-selling book for free to help you in your health journey today. I'll pay for the book. All you do is just cover the small shipping and handling costs. Go to asarx.com and get your free book today.
This episode is over, but check episode notes for links to products and services you've heard about on this episode. Thanks for listening and subscribing. Please share the Asa Rx audio experience with others and stay in touch by giving us your comment or review.